Hey, it's Chris Beyer.
Chris Bowling.
Hey, CB, we're back in focus with Amanda and Keith from Star RX, picking up on our last conversation.
Yes, thank you both.
So we wanted to talk more about some of the performance that we've seen from the Star RX program for our clients, or ECRX, again, as we mentioned last time, depending on where they're located and what they need. Keith, you had referenced that your book of business is around a $50 per enrolled member per month cost. And I would say, Chris, you and I are seeing some that are much lower than that, some that are maybe just a little bit higher, but I can agree with that average. That's not your fee, though. That's the all-in cost.
Everything.
So what we find unique about working with you is that sometimes there's a situation where we may have an employee stay on a brand name drug when the final net cost is lower than potentially a generic, where that may be contrary to often when we say just ask for the generic in order to save money when we're doing education. So you're truly tracking your cost for the employer based on every belly button on the plan per month. So you speak a little bit to that, how you calculated that out from the book. What all goes into that $50 number?
Sure. So one is the admin fee. You know, we don't do this for free. We charge an admin fee to process the claims. And when we look at it, we have several partners that we also pay when that's part of the admin fee. So we have a group that creates the formulary, and then what they do is we get rebates back on those formulary, and less their fee, we pass that along to the employer. So the $50 or so average that I mentioned is without rebates included, because we don't know what people are going to take and how much rebates are. We're averaging about $9 additional on top of that $50 back to the employer. So we write checks for $30, $40, $50,000 per quarter back to the employer. And that's a nice little chunk of money. And so then we'll also look at the specialty formulary, where we're looking at these brand name drugs. And if there is a high cost drug that we can source from somewhere else, meaning international sourcing, we scrub the data and look at the cost of that, and then we can source that from a tier 1 country, which is usually Canada, Australia, New Zealand, predominantly Canada, and we get that drug sent to their house on a 9-day supplies for usually 50 cents on the dollar. It's same drug, same manufacturer, same packaging, same everything. The only difference is that we're here in America and we're charged a lot more for things we really shouldn't have.
No, that's so that all in cost, then you're just looking at enrolled people on the health plan to figure that out. And we've seen that in the case, Amanda, that it's not even, after a couple of years that we see a significant change just right off the bat, putting everything, as we said, under the umbrella in place. So when you're talking with the employees, I know, Amanda, you do a lot of the service work when somebody has an issue at the pharmacy or, the challenges come up. How are we helping those employees better understand that, yes, we're saving money for the company, but in some cases, those members are saving too? I mean, that's a big component of this program, is that sometimes those employees get it for free themselves.
Yeah, and that's part of it is we try to do some education there too. Some employees don't necessarily realize that, their cost may only be $20 for a copay or something like that.
Yeah.
But someone has to pay the rest of those costs. The drug's not $20.
Correct.
They may only be paying $20, but your employer's paying $5,000, $6,000 every time you're filling. So we try to do some education there in that we really want it to be a savings overall for the plan, because in turn, if it's lower for the plan, then it's going to be lower premiums, and then it really helps everyone. So what we're doing for a lot of these high cost drugs is doing them, like you said, through manufacturers or an international sourcing. And what we do to incentivize is that those drugs are now at no cost to the member. So they have no cost, and then the cost of the medication is significantly lower for the employer, which overall is just a lower cost in general. And
that's
back to
that trend.
back to Keith's point, that is the cost of admin plus your claims. So really that's rolling everything in. That's the cost of the specialty claims. And we're really just looking at every single cost that you will pay, and then dividing that by your members. And that's kind of where we get that PM.
What I love is being in the consultant role. You try to spreadsheet 3 or 4 different PBMs, it's impossible, because it's AWP minus this, it's WAC minus that. And that doesn't get you to the final result, which is how much are you going to save my employer? And I think and Keith, you and I have talked about this. You know, I have a client here in the Quad Cities. We were $250 per member per month on pharmacy. We moved them to Star RX. In the first year, we took it to 79. The second year, we took it into the 60s. This year, we got down into low 50s. We're going to make one more little tweak. And I think we'll be at that 50, you know, $45 to $50 per member per month. But you know, this to me is the easiest way for Chris and I, you know, when we're talking with an employer and we're trying to figure out, are you overspending for your pharmacy? It's not send me your contract and I got to spend 3 weeks trying to read it. It's what's your per member per month spend on pharmacy?
Yeah,
It's a simple math problem. Put it all together.
Yeah.
Literally put it all together. And what are you spending per year?
Right.
Divide it by your number of members, divide it by 12. That's your per member per month cost.
And that's your comparison.
And that's what we do. We take all the fees, everything, we put it together. And if it's whatever it is, divide it by the number of members, divide it by and we're at $50 around there.
Yeah.
50
and
47 cents.
And boy, did I struggle with that the first time you and I talked. I'm like, well, no, I mean, what is your, you know, what's generic? You know, is it AWP minus what? And you're like, who cares?
We just want to get the lowest cost.
What is AWP?
Yeah.
AWP is different for everything, depending where you are, this and that. We will show you the prices of the drugs,
Right.
the dispensing fee. You have, it's all your data. So we'll give you anything you want. You can audit us whenever you want. It's fantastic.
I
We
think
just
a lot
created
of
a
our
different mousetrap.
Right.
That's a really good way to put it, because a lot of the employers are saying, if we can save money, we want to do something to invest back in our employees rather than just always raising those costs. Having these programs in place like this, we're prepared for the future of pharmacy because it's not getting any cheaper as new drugs come on. What are you seeing, you know, in the next year that an employer should be paying attention to when you think of medications coming out? Chris, you and I have talked a lot about some high cost things, but what are you, Keith and Amanda, seeing on the horizon for employers?
The big one, the elephant in the room, weight loss / diabetic drugs.
Yeah.
Your Wegovy's, Ozempics, Mounjaro. Mounjaro is going to be the new, drawing a blank here, Amanda. What's
$1 billion.
It'll just be the higher cost.
the highest
The big
cost
thing-
drug? The Humira. Sorry, it's going to be the new Humira. That's what. Sorry, it's going to be the $25.7 billion a year drug. So right now, I think what we're seeing is we get 5, 6, 7, 8 people a day trying to get these diabetic drugs for weight loss.
Yeah.
And so what we see is there's not enough information out there.
Right.
Our current plans, a lot of our plans offer these for weight loss. I mean, Wegovy is a weight loss drug, but there's going to be a tipping point at some point where plans are going to start to decide, is this something we should do? Can you keep this weight off? You're averaging 25 pounds at a BMI of 30 loss per taking this drug. I think that's going to be the next big push or conversation in the marketplace.
Yeah, that's a really good point. Well, as we finish up today's as well, I wanted to ask, as we always do in Focus, we didn't last round, so we got to finish with you. Amanda, we're going to kick it to you. As you take care of a lot of our clients, employees, and members, you're helping us make sure things are smooth. What helps keep you motivated? What's that motto that you use when you've just had one of those days?
Well, you actually said it at the beginning, that we make your life easier. That's our goal. That's really what we are here to do, is not only you, but your clients, but the members. And that's really my goal at the end of the day, is to make your life easier and make sure that you're happy.
That's well put. You do a great job of that every day.
Yes.
Thank you.
Both of
Thank you.
Sorry, Keith.
Yes. Keith,
I was
we'll
gonna
give you
say
credit.
Yeah, that's kind of our motto in general. I mean, we sat in the shoes of being on the HR side, the CEO side. And so we know that my focus on my job is to do my job and make my widget or make my whatever it is. I don't care about insurance. It's a terrible, I mean, this is the reality is it comes around once a year. Everyone hates doing it, and they rely on brokers to bring them, like you guys, to bring them the solutions that make the most sense. And so
Yeah.
when you're bringing them a Star RX or an ECRX, and you're allowing them or cutting their costs in half, that's great. But more importantly, if you allow us to make their lives better and easier, that's then you're the big time winner.
Well,
And
yeah.
everyone's happy. We've
No,
actually
great.
had one quick point. We actually had one of our first clients, maybe 5 or 6 years ago, they had saved so much money, they went out and bought another company. They actually
That's
physically
the
bought another
story
company.
we like
because
to
they
tell.
saved so much money.
That's awesome.
I like that one.
No, that's good.
So-
Well, thank you both for joining us.
Thank you
again.
both. You
Always
guys are
good.
amazing.
Thank you so much.
Thank
See
you
ya.
so much. Appreciate it. Have a great day.
We'll see you.
Bye-bye.